watch a lot of cartoons. It kind of hits hard. When voice actors die, it affects me a little more. Cardo Montalban, Baco, Roblox back in the day. Christine Cavanaugh. I just think that Jen Foray is going strong. She's almost tipping 100 now. I don't even know why they had the stop sign up here. If Kathy Susie ever dies or Tara Strong, I'll be blubbering for days. Christine Cavanaugh, man, I mean, it was just like last decade, there was this whole period where she was the hottest item in town. She probably had to turn away work. Her name would come up with everything. They had the Rugrats coming out at the time, and then Babe, and she was doing Dexter's Lab, and a couple of other shows with Disney. It was 101 Dalmatians, and that's really how she cut her teeth, was with the Disney folks. And she went over to Klasky Supo. And somehow goes over from Klasky Supo to Cartoon Network. James Brown says nothing on her. The hardest working woman in show business. And the cool thing about being a voice actor in Hollywood is you can't ham it up. You can't go too big. The sky's the limit, man. These are those guys, because they have to be out there. Because you can't see them, and you see them through the character. You know them through the character. And the character always has to be spastic, plastic, and just out there. When you look at Fairly Odd Parents, there's no... Look at Fairly Odd Parents. The guy who did Cosmo's voice in the pilot sounded subdued. And then as the years went on, he always plays it over the top. Because with Cosmo, you have to. Say that, but I guess with any comedies like that, you know, Married with Children, when it started out, Kelly Bundy was kind of smart, and then after a while she just became a complete dolt, over the top dolt. Kind of felt bad for Christina Applegate. they say that's not her. You know, you go from being a bookish, intelligent type, and here you got to play a bimbo. As one of my friends said, she still cashes those checks though. But it's just kind of sad that you get pigeonholed like that. Oh yeah, you're kind of good looking. We can exploit that. It's kind of like that for Tara Strong too, though. I mean, Christina Applegate didn't become a voice actor. She probably should, though. She has a distinctive voice that cuts. I think she'd do well at it. But like Tara Strong, the only role I remember her doing was, I think it was National Lampoon's Senior Trip, and she plays the slutty high school girl. And it's like, that's the only memory I have of her playing that. After that, she's behind the microphone. Of course, she's gotten pigeonholed there too, because she always does like dark gothic characters. Tara Strong doesn't do happy. Christine Cavanaugh, man. I mean, she helped Gennady Tartakovsky build an empire. There's another one that disappeared off the face of the earth. Did Symbiotic Titan, and no one ever heard from him again. Now that's one I wouldn't mind seeing on Netflix. You know, the sad thing is I'm patient and I'm doing things. I'm patient and I'm doing things legally. But at any time I want to, I can go to the torrents and probably find these things. But I don't want to. I get tired of torrents. You know, my pirating days are over. I got the money to buy this stuff, but it's just not available. I don't lament too hard for it because I've got 500 video games. I've got a instant viewing queue from Amazon and Netflix that is just filled with stuff that I haven't watched already. So I can wait. You know, it's times like this where I wish I had a teleporting ability. I wonder how many miles teleporting would shave off though on my Google Fit. Hell, it might register. You have traveled 363 million miles. always wondered that, does Google Fit track you based on motion, or does it track you based on GPS? Because if a person could teleport, it'd be like they walked 1 foot, then walked 100,000 feet, 100,000 steps, then walked. The thing would be going haywire. Like, what the heck? Like, this dude just traveled 100,000 miles in 1 second. Now, I'm curious as to like the freedom of information, or not the freedom of information, but basically Google helping out government agencies with a person teleporting with their mobile device on them, set off a red flag, and all of a sudden you had the CIA, the NSA banging on your door. We understand that you have acquired teleportation technology. Uncle Sam wants in. I'd say that'd be a great movie idea, but they already tried that with, what was that forgettable movie? It had Hayden Christensen. He could teleport, and Samuel L. Jackson came after him with like a Moby Dick, Captain Ahab spear or something, some kind of special spear. It sounds like they took a Melville novel and made it a sci-fi movie. It'd be kind of cool, actually. Mobius Dick. No, and then maybe it wouldn't work. They tried it with Treasure Planet. That was a letdown. What was the other one they tried? Well, that was the only one I can think of. Kind of strange seeing somebody else out here, though. I'd be annoyed at first, but I'd be kind of happy if I saw other people doing this out in these streets. Because then they'd have to do something about the pedestrian safety. I mean, I wish they'd put a sidewalk on Northwest Highway, but that'll never happen. If I wanted it bad enough, I'd have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and knock on people's doors and start petitioning them. Then after the petition, I'd have to really convince the people who live on that street that a sidewalk was a good idea, because they have to pay for it. In Dallas, I think we have the 50-50 rule that says you have to, if you put up 50% of the cost of building the sidewalk, the city will match you. That's how sidewalks get built. At least that's what it was. They said according to the Dallas City Hall website. So you think about the mountain that you have to climb to get 500 yards of concrete. I mean, I guess, you know, when you purchase your vehicle registration and driver's license, and you pay your taxes, that's how roads get built. But what do pedestrians get? They get cut out of that deal. You guys can just drive to parks. It's like, do you hear yourself when you say that? I want to walk around, so first I have to drive to some location where I can walk around. And not everybody has cars. I can't remember where I saw that. Maybe it was New York Times, but they did a series, or maybe it was the Atlantic. But they did a series about how pedestrians are treated like second-class citizens and outcasts. You know, people actually get incensed. Ugh, you're walking? Well, yeah, people used to do that once upon a time. Oh, no. Thank you. That was nice. Well, that wasn't nice, and he was doing his job, but still. Why did the chicken cross the road? Because the 51 Walnut Hill bus was 15 minutes late. I can finally go back to having long conversations with myself. But like I said, you start looking at the analytics, and nobody watches my exercise videos. The driving videos, you get a kick out of those. Like the other day, I went on 635 and it had 66 views. I couldn't figure out what that was all about. My message was basically, don't get on 635. I stand by that. Hell, that's a no-brainer. I heard a stand-up comedian making fun of 635. That's when I knew how bad it was. I'm like, when a comedian can use 635 to fill 5 minutes of material in a set, you know, 635 has become the new airplane food for comedians. So, how about that 635, huh? Or as I like to call it, Dallas's parking lot. The only freeway where you're required to put on protective gear before getting in your car. The next Mad Max movie will be Mad Max gets on 635. You know. I mean, you can come up with a million of them, but I'm sure you can come up with a million of them from Houston too. I just said that, but I know what's going to happen now. Whenever I'm thinking about it, someone's already going to do it. There's going to be another Mad Max movie. Who will star in it? I don't know. You know who would have been pretty good at it, though? The guy who passed away from the Fast and Furious series. They probably could have made about 2 or 3 of those movies with him. hell, they can get Vin Diesel. Oh no, he's pretty much tied up with the Riddick thing. They don't want to make him Mad Max. Still, Hollywood does have a black eye, pun intended. But it's time to get some color on the screen. Maybe I should say Hollywood has a white eye. Speaking of Hispanic, Mad Max would be pretty cool. It's like Maximilian. Yeah, that's probably racist, but they had Viva Max. Well, once again, that was racist. John Aston playing a Mexican army officer. Still trying to figure that one out. I forgot who played. Oh, Peter Ustinov was playing the general. It's a funny movie though, because it makes fun of everybody. It's just like making fun of Texans back then. And the sad thing is, you watch Viva Max, you realize the Texans haven't changed in like 50 years. Jonathan Winters was in that one. Was Rod Steiger in that one? Who was the other guy that was in there? Because he shot the general, and then he said, charge! And they said, no, we're drawing back, we're drawing back. We're drawing back, y'all. And he just ran off. Man, that's my new quest. I'm going to find Viva Max. Admiral and I are going to have to watch that one. We always bond over bad movies. Watching, he likes to watch westerns. One of the things he was watching was, I think it was called Night of the Grizzly. Just a really bad western. Very forgettable. You know, he knows who all these guys are that are in these things. The guy in it was a mountain of a man, like 6'4", 6'5", ripped with muscle, and he was playing the hero. Well, that's how much the Western is ingrained in Hollywood. Just about every actor you can think of from Golden Age to Silver Age was in one. I don't think Spencer Tracy was ever in a Western. I have to ask that. Jimmy Stewart was in a Western. He's in a couple. Burt Lancaster, Jim Brown, Woody Strode. John Wayne did so many Westerns. I asked my dad, did he ever do movies where he wasn't in the Western? Starting to think people who drive Range Rovers are worse than Lexus drivers. They seem to think that they're driving Bigfoot and they can just run people over. Burt Reynolds did Westerns. He started out doing Westerns. Did Andy Griffin ever do a Western? There's a question. That's a good question. let's go. I just realized that. Let's see. Forrest Whitaker's never done a Western, which he would be perfect for. Forrest Whitaker's never done a Western. Samuel L. Jackson has never done a Western. But no, wait, the Django kind of counts. Yeah, the Django counts. So yeah, he's done a Western. Even Samuel L. Jackson did a Western. Well, comedians don't really do Westerns. Every once in a while there are Western comedies, though. Ironically, with straight men in it and athletes. Guys who you always think are serious. Chris Rock's never done a Western. Rob Schneider's never done a Western. Just about anybody from the Saturday Night Live cast has never done a Western. And Aykroyd, Bill Murray. Oh wait, I take that back. Okay. Chevy Chase did Three Amigos. That was kind of a Western. Yeah, that was Western. Had gunfights. That's Chevy Chase. He was hurting for anything for a while there. Still is. Kind of sad to hear what people are saying about him. I was just like, I don't know how much of it is true, but apparently he's tough to get along with. Celebrity roast of him, and none of his Saturday Night Live people would show up for it. They had a bunch of third-tier comedians, and all they did was rip him furiously about why none of his friends would show up. I was like, get your knives out. It wasn't a roast, it was a bloodbath. They were gigging him good. I understand the roast. I get it. It's the fact that you shouldn't take yourself seriously. But sometimes, like I said, in these roasts, man, it's not the truth that's coming out. It's the venom. A good roast tells the truth about a person and humorous and uses the mask of humor to do so. monstrosity they're gonna put up there. They got brand new signs. I'm trying to figure out what font that is. I catch myself doing everything Arial. When I was a kid, it was Times New Roman because I just loved the way it looked like newsprint. And come to find out, I think that I can't remember who owns the copyright on Times New Roman. But the bottom line is I just don't use it. Google defaults to Arial. OpenOffice defaults to Arial, so I just use Arial. Very smooth, readable font. Problem with Arial is it's a no-frills font. Another thing about old tacky people doing it. He said he did his resume in Comic Sans. Last time I came through here, I think they had leaves on the trees. If you ever wanted to watch what everybody was doing in the neighborhood, so you rustle up a bunch of squirrels and attach cameras to them. I wonder what the squirrel cam would catch. Lexus drivers on the road at the same time. I'll be on that street. Well, I'm testing to see if my wasabi battery is going to wear out today before I finish. My GoPro battery, I did a long run, I can't remember which day that was, and that sucker kept going strong. 2 hours into it. Wasabi battery, I've had a problem where it'll be like a minute 17, all of a sudden the damn thing cuts out. Not 67 minutes or 77 minutes on these things. We'll find out. I estimate that it'll probably cut out right around when I get to Lemmon Avenue. I hope to be made a liar of. Do they actually sell chocolate, or is it just like, I don't know, hard to tell some of these places. But you know that if it's in this area, it's probably overpriced chocolate. I don't think that clock works. That's not a good sign. Usually when somebody gets a business up here, it stays here, but I start seeing this, and then pretty soon I'll probably see more. reminds me, I haven't had breakfast yet. I'm watching Alpha House. The only reason I'm watching it is because I read it was written by Gary Trudeau, the guy who does Doonesbury. So I knew it had to be pretty good political comedy. It's not bad. Basically, the setup that I'm seeing so far is they're waiting for the common sense Republican, or hoping for the common sense Republican. So yeah, that's what's comedy. Problem is, in order to watch that show, you got to get it on Amazon Instant, whatever they call their stupid service. Bottom line, I run Ubuntu, so I can't watch it on my desktop computer. And they're talking. I look on the internet and they say, all you got to do is download the hardware extraction layer, then download Pipelight, then download the program that fools Amazon's program into thinking that you're running it from another browser, from another operating system. I said, you know what? That's too many steps. About 2 years ago, all I had to do was download the hardware extraction layer, and it played in my browser, no problem. In fact, I think the original browser ran on HTML5, or the original program ran on HTML5. And then some genius, probably in the entertainment industry, said, man, we want you to run our DRM on Silverlight. And that just killed Amazon. So I got a tablet and a phone. That's kind of a tablet. Both of them run Android, or KitKat, whatever, 4.0 and 5.0, 4.4 and 5.0. And yet, only the mobile phone is allowed to run Prime, whatever, Instant, whatever. So, I also have Chromecast. So what I do is I try to Chromecast it. But here's the thing: Amazon's in a fight with Google over a wireless streaming box. You can only do it on Fire. So that's that stupid idea. So that's uniquely Amazon. So the way I found around it is you can a lot of dog shops right here. Did the dog drive up here, or did she? No, she did. Okay. way I'm watching it is I've got Prime Instant Video. What I do is I do my Chromecast on my phone in general, and then run Prime Instant Video. It works, it streams okay, but the problem is my phone starts to heat up really bad after a while because it's constantly broadcasting to the Chromecast box. Whereas Netflix, they use a distributed hardware model. You connect to your basically your tablet or your phone your mobile device becomes like a key fob. It logs you in and authenticates you, and then it sends that permission over to the Chromecast box, and then the Chromecast handles all the heavy lifting. Smart idea, great engineering, and we don't know why Amazon doesn't do it. I say we, I mean we who are Prime Amazon customers who gripe and complain about this. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because Amazon sends me a letter, mails me a letter via snail mail. Hey, they painted it. Looks nice. Kind of funny, I'm having a conversation with myself and everybody's out here walking. Perdón, abuela. Technically, she's an abuelita, little granny. Anyway, Amazon sends me a letter saying that you haven't used your Amazon Instant thing yet, or your Prime Instant, whatever. And I'm sitting there posting on the forum. Thank you for sending me that letter, by the way, wasting your time and mine to tell me about a service that I can't use on any of my devices. Of course I'm snarky. They went up on the price on Prime and stayed the same or went down on the service. So yeah, I got a right to be a little miffed. Meanwhile, I can't sing enough praises about Netflix. Netflix finally made it easy to get on their service. I can get it on any device I want. It's on my phone, it's on my tablet, it's on Chromecast, it's in my TV. I never used it on my TV because I had it on all the other devices. It's and now I can get it on Linux. All you got to do is put on the Google Chrome, because Google Chrome now has DRM built into its HTML5 specifications. That was the only stipulation. Now you can't do it on Chromium because Chromium doesn't have the DRM built in because it's an open source browser, and the open source community hates DRM. Understandably so. Here you are with this code that everybody can read and modify as they see fit, and then along comes Hollywood with its paranoia and its utility. It makes you put something in there that you can't read the code for. I suspect that's why Chrome isn't running all that great right now, is it's got a lot of proprietary stuff in it. One of the things that it has is, looks like that thing finally came off. Oh. My guess is this looks like it was at the body shop, and this is the partition that they use when they're painting. And I guess it came off while the trucker was hauling it out of the dealership. Unfortunately, there's not a trash can around, so put it down there. But yeah, let's just say that I'm a Linux user. Been one for about the last 5 years now. I just loved it because I didn't have to use an operating system. I didn't have to use an antivirus, and I had a little bit more control over it. Unfortunately, sometimes I have a little too much control. There's some things that I don't really need to know. I just want it to work. But it's a free, neat little operating system. You get what you pay for, and what you're not paying for runs pretty well. And now I've gotten to the point where when they put Netflix on Ubuntu, and I was able to play games on Ubuntu, I said, well, I'm not running Windows anymore. I still have it on my dual boot partition, but I only go to it very, very rarely. Basically, basically Windows is nothing more than a bloated game operating system for me. Like I said, I got 500 something games on Steam. 400 of them only play on Linux, or excuse me, only play on Windows. So I guess I'll be playing 100 games on Linux. I know what's going to happen one day. Microsoft's going to come up with a thing that says, okay, if you pay us $15, you can have the DirectX plugin for Linux. And some Linux users will go for it, and so they can play their Windows games on Linux. It'll be their proprietary snap-in that works pretty well. You know, maybe NVIDIA and Microsoft will work out a deal or something. Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Intel. Because AMD and well, AMD is out. The next gaming box I have to build cannot have an AMD processor, cannot have an AMD card, because it does not work with Linux. Hell, it barely works with Microsoft. It's depressing because every system I ever built had AMD stuff in it. I've always built AMDs. Now I gotta switch over to Intel. A lot of people out here today. A lot of people out here for the last 2 days. I really wish they had a sidewalk over here, but it's good cross-country training. Here's my disco floor. I never realized how hard it is to find a Bluetooth gamepad for an Android device. I'm in an affordable one. Moga makes one, and they charge too much money for it. There's another company that makes one. It looks like a NES controller. But it was really built for playing emulated games. That reminds me, I need to see if I can find an emulator. Download all those old games. Because that will probably be the only way I can play Chrono Trigger. Is through an emulator, through my Android device. I'm not buying a Wii from a Nintendo just so I can play one damn game. That's where Nintendo drops the ball. Is Sega did it, Sony does it. They take some of their titles and they make them available in multiple formats. Not Nintendo. And when they go out of business, they have no right to ask why. I mean, act like they don't know why. Because of stupid moves like that. You could easily be playing Super Mario Brothers on your on Steam or GOG. The bottom line is you could be playing it on a PC. But Nintendo, they don't register that. Like I said, Nintendo has the unique irony of its developers think outside the box, but the people who run the company don't. That's the same thing that hurts Sony. Great engineers, stupid managers. And it's a testament to how great engineers can keep your company afloat for many years, despite your bad management decisions. Like I said, great engineers can mask flawed business for a long time. It did in the case of General Motors and Ford. And I guess it does so in the case of a lot of these Japanese companies. You got some moron sitting there saying this is the way we've always done it. Well, no wonder you can't keep your head above water. You know, that argument, I've always done it this way. Weightlifters say the same thing. Well, I've always lifted the weight this way. And then they have bulging hernias in their discs. Strained muscles. All because they've quote unquote always done it this way. If it works, right? That's basically what a lot of these companies are. They're like the stupid power lifter who's been lifting wrong all these years. They get seriously injured. And that comment comes back to bite them. Well, this is the way we've always done it. The epitaph of the failed business. That's why when they got hacked, that's why when I hear about the PlayStation 4, that's when I hear about them closing down their TV division, it doesn't surprise me. Sony does a lot of stupid things. You know, mini disc was brilliant. Blu-ray was kind of a dumb idea. It was a great idea at the wrong time. Blu-ray would have been great like 10, 15 years ago, but online streaming killed that. The Walkman was a great idea. Like I said, that's all great engineering. Sony's marketing isn't really even that great. You know, they have a product, but they don't really brag about it. They just, like I said, every once in a while come up with a halfway decent product, and they find ways to screw it up getting it to people. You wouldn't want Sony curing cancer, let's put it that way. Hey, did you hear that Sony came out with a cure for cancer? Really? Why didn't we hear anything about it? Well, they kind of put out a press release and we didn't really hear it. And that's how it spread, the word of mouth spread. There's only one drawback to it, it's a suppository, and that's the only way they're going to release it. I was like, yeah, but you can put it in a syringe. Yeah, but they don't want you to. And they're keeping other companies from, you know, getting the, like years later, they'd be sitting there trying to fight the generic patent expire, in other words, trying to fight generic drugs coming out. So then the medical industry would have to come up with another route for curing cancer. And then Sony would lose money on the deal. I hope to God that Sony never gets involved in medicine. Okay, it's still there. I can't say I blame him, it's a nice view. There's a lot of trash in that lake. But thankfully they cleaned all the bodies and the cars out of here. Most of it now is just trash and vegetation debris. At least I think they got most of the bodies out of there. You gotta understand that back in the 50s, Bachman Lake was pretty much a dumping ground for anybody who ticked off the organized crime. I don't know what happened to organized crime in this city. Most of the time what happens to organized crime is not that the syndicates get... It's not that the government did anything to stop them. It's... They laundered their money in legitimate businesses. The legitimate businesses wound up becoming pillars of the community, and they just blended in. I mean, that's a sad thing. It's like, you know, they show Elliot Ness and all this other stuff, and they're shooting guns and they're blowing away bad guys, but the reality of the situation is the bad guys win. You see, the truth of the matter is we don't need organized crime anymore. We have corporations. And I don't mean that to be like cynical or anything. I mean, that's the truth. All the stuff that organized crime used to do, the corporations are doing it now. You know, corporations own casinos, corporations have all the drugs, and they come up with anything. They can come up with drugs way more potent than anything the street can offer, and they can do it legally. In fact, they kind of got their hands on the prostitution. I guarantee you, if somebody did a study and found out how much money they can make off of peddling flesh, there'd be a corporation at the center of it, making money hand over fist. It'd work a little bit better for the sex workers. At least they'd have, you know, probably have comprehensive medical coverage and 401ks and stuff like that. But for the most part, that's the one thing that corporate America hasn't quite gotten into, and that's the sex trade. But give it time. Right now, they got a cash cow in education. All right. Oh, thank you. Pardon me. If you ever want to save money on barricades, just get a bunch of women talking on a cell phone. They pretty much had the same effect. Or something. I guess those Spanish stations are either that or advertising gotten a lot cheaper. Advertising telenovelas on buses. They're coming up in the world. Lexus drivers don't believe in stop signs. Now he's trying to cover the, look at that. Went right over the double white line. He didn't care. That's my gripe against Lexus drivers. We're talking about somebody who is completely oblivious to other people on the road. They sell it as a car for selfish people. Forget peace on earth, I want a Lexus. It's kind of funny though, I got a prejudice against somebody who drives a certain kind of car. What kind of ism is that? Brandism? Yeah, I'm a brandist. Can you imagine? I don't talk to him, he owns Sony products. I don't like that guy, he smokes Marlboro. God, that's so brandist. That's kind of what I became. I'm not a racist, I'm brandist. He's like, why don't you talk to that guy? You see what he's wearing, right? It's like, what? Old Navy. I don't talk to people who wear that stuff. What the hell, man? I don't know, man. He drives a Chevy. You know how those people can be. I'll keep doing it until it becomes politically incorrect to make fun of somebody who uses a certain brand of something. Then I'll say, well, gosh darn it, that guy's just a really bad driver. But until then, oh my God, look at that Lexus driver. Gotta watch out for them people. Brandist. Crazy, man. I ain't seen that ugly dog in a while. I forgot what breed that is, but always reminds me of the alien from Predator. But you do kind of become a brandist because you see these people who buy these things and you know it's a bad product. You know that anybody who does any measure of research would realize it's a bad product. Like, you know, if you see somebody with who has a plan with T-Mobile, you start thinking a certain thing about those people. Cheap ass. This is someone who has cell phone service and probably shouldn't have cell phone service. But they had to have something, so they went with T-Mobile. Man, they are still fixing this. It's amazing what one drunk driver cost the entire neighborhood. My guess is he knocked out some kind of transformer they had over there, and so now they got to install a new one. And in the meantime, that's a portable generator that they got over there that acts as like a, I guess, a step-down transformer or a line conditioner.